Bonjour everyone, so this time I'm showing you my entire collection of Renault 5. So this is a request from someone, you know who you are, if you still remember. I'm gonna try to not make this video too long, that's the new issue with this video with my voice. So the Renault 5 is quite an iconic car of the 70s, or at least for Europe. It is a small compact car in a similar way to the first gen Volkswagen Golf. It's a bit smaller though, but even though it's less familiar in some part of the world, like in the US, even though it was sold there, the Renault 5 is quite an iconic worldwide car. It was sold starting in 1972. First, it was a three-door, like this Wally or this Matchbox. The Matchbox is from the period, and it says Leotard, which was the name of the Renault 5 in the US. It didn't sold very well there. But even though it's a Leotard, it's a European Renault 5. In fact, if you look at the tailgate, you can see a license plate. It's a French license plate, and more specifically, a Parisian license plate, as you can see with the 75 at the end, which is a postal number for Paris. Anyway, so later on, the Renault 5 came out as a 5 doors in 1980. Majority did the 5 doors. I don't have this one, and they also did the 3 door. I don't have this one either, because it's a quite soft sought after majority casting, so it's a bit expensive. So these are the more regular Renault 5, which one of the key modern features for the Renault 5 was its bumpers, because you have to remember that back in the 70s, most of cars still had some bumper made out of chrome or metal, but the Renault 5 had some plastic bumper, which something which will become pretty much the norm for the following decade. Even now, I mean, they are not in black, they are painted, but they are plastic and not metal like back then. What else to say? Also, not shown here, so I said there were a 3-door, a 5-door, but also a 4-door, and by that I mean a sedan. So basically 2 more doors, and then a truck. That car was called the Renault 7, or 7 in Spanish, because it was a car only for that market. I don't think that there are any 1/64 scale of that car. Even Guizval or other Spanish diecast maker did not make it at the time. But what the most famous version of the Renault 5, I think, was for its sporty variant. Now, first of all, there was the Alpine and then the Alpine Turbo, but more importantly, you have this, the Renault 5 Turbo, which was had a completely different drivetrain position, because obviously the regular 5 have the engine on the front and front wheel drive, but the Renault 5 Turbo had the engine in the back, and it was rear wheel drive too. And it was pretty much an homologation car for rally. We'll get to the 2 more one, but there were a civilian car that Mr. Everyone and everybody could buy, although in limited number, if I remember correctly. So that's a no. Now, all of these models are not in true 1/64 scale. They are more 3-inch, and they are roughly at 154 to 156. In fact, this one says 154. And you can see Renault 5 Turbo 1980. And yes, it's missing a headlights because it's a car from my late childhood. So that was one. Then you have another one. That's a Majorette. That's the new casting because they did a Renault 5 Turbo casting in the 1980s, but this one is a brand new one, which came out few years ago, and we can see again the scale is 156. This one has an opening hatch, but Majorette did a big mistake because there's nothing here. There should be an engine. So that's weird, but anyway, and you also have suspension. So Majorette also did back in the 80s. This one, it has a pullback motor. It don't work anymore, I think. I'm gonna try. No, it doesn't work. Anyway, but because of that, it looks a bit big. Scale is not stated, but it's even bigger, you can see. So I still need to find the more regular casting of the Renault 5 Turbo. And so like I said, the Renault 5 Turbo was made for competition, rally racing. I'm not too familiar with that part of the history, but I can show this one. That's an OF, that's the same as this one, but with a different color. Tour de course, yes, it's a rally. So I don't think that the Renault 5 did some Group B racing because it was two-wheel drive. I mean, I think in early years of Group B there were some two-wheel drive like the Lancia 037, but it's better known for the four-wheel drive car like the Audi Quattro, the Delta S4, 205, T16, and whatnot. But anyway, I'm going out of subject. So the Renault 5 was made, the first gen at least, was made until 1985, when it was replaced by the second gen, which was called the Super 5 or Super 5. But fun fact, I think that it's in Iran, it was made, the first gen I mean, it was made until about 2013, but they modify a lot of things, the engine and few details and whatnot. And so on that,